Hey, this is Rachel from the Life Facilitator, and I am doing a setup of my wellness planner for the month of March. So right now I'm just doing a quick flip, very quick flip of the insert, the two inserts that I'll be using. So I'm using a trimmed down A5 dory and then one of the simple dories, both from Coco Daisy. This is a very quick flip through of the dashboard kit and the planner kit, which is what I'll be using for this setup. The planner that I'm using for this setup is a Webster's Pages Traveler's Notebook, and it's the or gold hexagon cover. And I will try to link it below. I got mine at scrapbook.com, but there might be some on the website, on their website still available. So right now I'm just picking which paper I want to use and then which dashboards I want to use for this setup. And once I finish, I put away the papers I'm not going to use. So I am going to trim down several of the couple of dashboards that I'm going to use, and I'm actually going to trim off the florals. Don't be alarmed, they will get used elsewhere in this setup, and you'll see that in a little bit. I did this is the setup for the simple dory. My basic covering of Traveler's Notebook setup is just to basically fold a flap over the cover and then washi tape the front cover to the folded section. And I don't washi tape the back cover so that the back cover can move a little bit as I open and close the insert. Um, so I was a little bit on the struggle bus trying to get this on or folded correctly, and I finally do end up getting it the way I wanted it. And then here I am, yeah, washi taping the cover. And then I wanted this cover to be pretty simple, so I just used the trimmed down quote from the dashboard and then laid it on top, do a little outlining, but that'll pretty much be the cover. I did think about adding a die cut, but I don't end up doing that. And so, yeah, once I decide not to use that, I'll go ahead and just outline the quote just so that it pops a little bit. And this cover is done. So yeah, all I used was the paper and then one of the dashboards, and that cover is complete. I did end up trimming the top of this paper too much, and so I don't end up using this paper, and I'll use a different paper to cover this insert. It was just my mistake. I was not being careful when I was trimming. The papers do come slightly taller than the actual standard dory themselves, and so normally I trim it with some more care. This time I did not. And so here I am again, just making my folds, and then I'll fold the cover on top of the insert, and then yeah, and then I'll be done with the cover part of this. And this cover will not be very much more decorative than the other cover. It'll be again the dashboard, one of the trimmed down dashboards, and then die cut elements. So pretty easy setup. So and I know I could just actually adhere the paper onto the cover, but I do like making a separate cover. I do think it protects the insert a little bit better. Also, it's really hard to get the paper accurately like adhered onto the cover. So this works better for me. Um, I do, and I for my wellness planner, I do like to have, because I'm only using the planner for the month, or I'm using this insert just for the month. I do like to have the cover be something that has the month name on it. So that's why I chose this dashboard. And this is actually one of the personal size dashboards, and that worked really nicely. And then that die cut up at the top, I just thought it just like popped out at me. It was like, you're going to use me. That's just the end of the story. So now that the inserts are back in the planner cover, I do start filling the pockets. And I'm pretty much exclusively using the extra papers from the trimmed down dashboards, die cuts from the planner kit, the bow, or the bow clip, of course. And then I also tend to fill the pockets with packaging, some of the paper packaging, and I'll actually end up adhering some of the die cut pieces onto the packaging because it helps keep the die cuts in place a little bit better. I added some of the sticky notes as well, and yep, just sort of fiddling with where to what to put in the pockets. Oh, I do end up using that other paper, and I do punch some paper punches, and I'll add a few of those into the pockets as well. I I will never tire of having the papers from the different kits, because I will punch them, I'll rip them, I'll do all sorts of things with them. I love the papers from all of the kits. They're so handy. Um, and yep, so the setup is the setup of the planner is about done. I will add a couple note sheets, and then for the second part of the video, I will show you how I actually set up the dory insert. So here I am, going through and counting out the boxes for the meal, the food, fitness, and how I'm physically feeling section of this dory insert. So that's in the front. And I do this vertically because it makes sense for me to see kind of these things in vertically in the day. And then in the back of the insert, I use the second set of weekly pages for my, what I call the daily download. I didn't come up with that. Tanya Dalton came up with that from Inkwell Press, and I've adapted it to my own needs. But here I am, I'm using the date stickers for the front of the insert. I will not go through all of this with you. This is just kind of showing you how I date the front section of the insert. And then I'll go back through with the days of the week. And yeah, so here's me. I actually turned the days of the week to the side so that, I don't know, I liked it better. It looked a little bit more even to me. And so I just changed it a little bit. And yep, so those are all, once it's all dated, the next thing I'm going to do is actually go in and stamp my different sections for this part of the planner, of the insert. So I'm using a alpha set that was, I believe this was in the April kit from last year, and it was an alpha set, and it has to be one of my favorite alpha sets. I love it so much. And here I am batch stamping the different sections. So the first section will say food, the second section is going to say fit, and then the last section will say feel, and that's just helping me remember that the different sections. So this is me tracking my food. The middle section tracks my exercise and any sort of physical activity I did that day. And then the bottom section is sort of to track any sort of changes in how I'm physically feeling. And I've been doing this setup for a couple months now, and it's been really helpful, and a good, it's just a really good visual of sort of what my month is looking like physically, with my wellness. So that's been it's been really good. Um, and setting the whole thing up ahead of time makes it really easy too. I don't really do any decorating in this insert. I really just use it pretty functionally. So I kind of get all the decorating out at the beginning of the month by actually setting up the insert. And of course, doing the dashboards and the covers and the pockets. That's all the really decorative elements of this planner. Um, and yeah, so um, the reason I'm using sticky notes and I don't have to do this, it's a habit. But the sticky notes are to help, in case any ink gets transferred to the other page, the sticky note will catch that. Um, and now I'm going to add my tracker. This tracker is from it was a printable from the Reset Girls Harmony Retreat. I don't know if this is available just as its own printable, but there are other places you can get a printable like this. I think the Passion Planner has a free tracker printable that's very similar, and this one, but because I have this one, um, I have been using this one, and it's worked out really well. And I just print it on sticker paper and then cut it out. And I'm going to add the different things that I track for the month in the sort of description section. And then I'll do a little bit of decorating of this page, but mostly this page is really meant to be functional and to help me track um, some wellness things for the month. So, yeah. So here I'm going to go in and find a couple things from the kit to add to the page just to make it a little bit more visually appealing. This pocket card came from the pocket card kit, and I love the pocket card kit. I feel like if I had no memory keeping, let me back up. Because I'm not a pocket memory keeper, that just never stops me from using those pocket cards. I'll use those pocket cards in pretty much all my planners and in any format. I really like it. Here, and I'm adding another dashboard. So I'm trimming down one of the dashboards and adding it to the page. And yeah, so all in all, this setup took about an hour. Obviously, I am speeding it up quite a bit, but part of the reason it took an hour was because I had to like change locations for filming. But yeah, typically a setup like this will take start to finish about an hour, which is pretty good, considering I've set up an entire planner and two different sections of weeklies and a tracker and all sorts of stuff. So, but it makes it so much easier having, the planner kit to just take all the guesswork of like, oh, is this going to look good together? Because it's all going to look good because it's all meant to go together. So setting up this planner is a lot easier when I have a kit to work with. And, oh yeah, I'll add one more little die cut. And so the last thing I'll do with this setup is actually set up uh, the back pages, which again I mentioned I use it for my daily download. Um, oh, right, I'm going to add another dashboard onto one of the blank pages, literally just because I liked the quote and I wanted to see it in this planner. It worked really well for this planner. So, oh, and another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the front calendar. Because I trimmed down this insert, the calendar got cut off, and so I'm just adding another dashboard to the front cover. And works great. You would have never known that it wasn't supposed to be there. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and start stamping the back pages. So for this setup, I'm using another stamp kit, or another stamp from a previous Cocoa Daisy kit. And I don't quite remember which kit this was from, but what I will say is any time there's a stamp that you like that Cocoa Daisy makes, I would go ahead and just get it, because their stamps are the most versatile stamps in my collection, and I have a lot of stamps, and I will still reach for Cocoa Daisy stamps more than any of my other stamps, because they are well made and they are so versatile. I love, like, this is a really scripty font, and looks totally different than the font and then the alpha set that I used at the beginning. But I really like that, and both stamps work really well with this setup. So yeah, big fan of the Cocoa Daisy stamps. They are some of my favorites. But you could use any stamp set to do this sort of setup. And so here I am just doing a final flip to show you what all I've put together. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little longer. My apology for that. Last thing I'm going to do is add the patch to the front, because it was calling to be there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!